is this trip happening? P.J. Crowley, Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs in the Department of State, my guest now. Sir, good morning, and thank you for your time.
Hello, Bill.
Why is it happening?
Well, Imam Feisal has been a part of our what we call our international information program since 2007. He made a trip earlier this year to Egypt. We are sent back to the Middle East again, to Qatar, to Bahrain, and the United Arab Emirates, part of a conversation that we have on religion and a wide range of subjects with experts from the United States all over the world. Every year we send about 1,200 experts to talk about a range of subjects. We send about 50 religious authorities to talk about religion in America. This includes rabbis, imams, and Christian scholars as well.
So why this guy?
Well, he's a moderate Islamic cleric. We want to show people around the world, particularly in Muslim-majority countries, the role that religion plays here. He was actually selected for this program under the Bush administration. We have continued his involvement in the program. His involvement in our program here at the State Department is not related to the issue of where this mosque will be placed in New York.
You say he's a moderate cleric, yet he's refused to acknowledge Hamas as a terrorist organization. He made a comment that U.S. foreign policy could be considered an accessory to the attacks of 9/11. Is that moderate?
We think he's a moderate U.S. cleric. I think there are religious scholars. I've heard in media reports where Abe Foxman of the ADL has vouched for his religious views. We just think it's important to have a variety of voices representing the United States. Whether he has his own personal views, I don't know, but we think that by communicating how we have religious diversity and freedom of religion in this country, that is an important message for the United States to communicate around the world.
Did you know about his involvement in this mosque brouhaha in New York?
Do we know it now? Of course we knew it now.
You know,
yes.
You know it now, but I mean, was that ever a consideration? Did you know before this latest trip was announced?
We have, like I say, he made a trip in 2007, trip for us in January to Egypt.
So he's on the frequent flyer program then, huh? I'm sorry, but you're saying this is his third trip overseas as part of this program going back to 2007?
Yes. Now the trip he's about to go on to Bahrain, Qatar, and the UAE was under negotiation before this controversy sparked in New York. But again, the issue of where the mosque is placed, that's an issue for the city of New York and the people of New York. We value his participation in the program. He's been an effective representative for the United States, and we're sending him back to the Middle East.
At what point do we know who he meets with? At what point do we figure out what he's talking about when he's on this trip?
Well, when he's overseas, he's hosted by the embassies and consulates in the various places that he'll be. We'll be escorting him around to convey our perspective here in America to audiences and individuals.
So he'll have an escort. That means that you'll know what all his subject matter's about. So
of course.
Is there a possibility, and this is a big concern in New York, how do you raise $100 million? Where do you get it? I mean, could he turn this taxpayer-funded trip into a fundraiser?
Not at all. We have policies about and there's no personal business or fundraising that goes on during our trips, and we have communicated that directly to the Imam.
Yeah, certainly he knows that if he's trying to extend understanding between faiths, the controversy here and how tender it can be to the victims, the families of the victims who are still living with the pain of 9/11. Is he aware, and will he carry in his message, that in the 5 boroughs of New York there are already today 100 mosques?
I suspect he might very well, convey that across our country we have, people of the Muslim faith. They practice freely. They have great interaction with other religious representatives. That is, in fact, the message that we communicate to people around the world, one of freedom of religion and religious tolerance. We practice that here, and we think that by conveying that message overseas, it helps people overseas understand us better.
So you think we've moved the meter on this topic then, going back to 2007? Are we getting something from his visits overseas? And if so, what would you say concretely is how we get advantage from it?
Well, if you look at the polling that we do around the world all the time, particularly in Muslim-majority countries, the view of the United States has improved over the past few years. In selected countries, obviously we still have a ways to go. In a country like Pakistan, for example, that's one of the reasons why we are trying to help the Pakistani people understand during these terrible floods how we are there helping them and committed to a different kind of relationship with Pakistan. So this is an ongoing effort, Bill, and we are trying to help people in these countries understand and appreciate the role of the United States in the world.
I know you understand. I know you support his trip. When will it happen, by the way? What's the date for departure?
I don't have a particular. He'll depart in the very near future. We'll be announcing his travel dates to the media.
Okay, we're going to stay on it. We'll stay in touch with you. I know you support the trip. I know Hillary Clinton has weighed in on too, Secretary of State. She supports the trip. P.J. Crowley, thanks for coming on and trying to clear some of this up today. I appreciate your time from Washington. We would like to hear from our viewers too. Log on.